Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru 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 Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Baru
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this show, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri Bala Swamiji now in worship.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gururdevo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Bhuyuta Shri Hari Chinnhitabhyam Agastya Rekhadibhiranchitabhyam Nigodha Bijakshara Mudritabhyam Namo Namas Sadguru Padukabhyam. Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidanandarupam Vibhudharivahasevyam Yogamargadhirudham Sharanamupagatanaamarti Sanghadrivajram Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhaktinamro Namami, Bhaktinamro Namami.
Once again everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arpanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Velini's Drug Mart Limited of 58-60 Sutton Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, Coquier Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando, and Samtron Insurance Brokers Limited of 1126 SS Erin Road, Debe, and 225 Southern Main Road, Warrenville, Cunupia.
Last week on Datta Arpanam, study of the Dash Avatara of Lord Vishnu began with the study of Matsya Avatara. This incarnation is also known as Veda Narayana since he protected knowledge. We learned that fish form of the Lord glows within our bodies as Param Jyoti, the divine light. Today, instead of moving forward in a chronological order with the next major incarnation of the Lord, we will be moving forward to an incarnation which is particularly dear to many, his incarnation as Sri Krishna.
First, though, worship is offered to the remover of obstacles. May he remove the obstacles in the path of realization of the Supreme Lord. Please open the Bhajanmala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com. Enter Bhajan ID number 42 and join in singing this beautiful and power-laden bhajan.
Smitamanjuvaktram Kashaya Deham Vastrunvita Neeladeham Dhyaye Bahuchitrakashobhipalam Shri Sachidanandam Gurum Prasannam Gurum Prasannam Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Nijamba Sutarakshama Sutarakshama Nijamba Sutarakshama Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Nijamba Sutarakshama Nijamba Sutarakshama Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Jaya Lambodara Pahimam Bhaja Shambho Sutta Pahimam Bhaja Shambho Sutta Pahimam Nija Gauri Sutta Rakshama Nija Gauri Sutta Rakshama Bhaja Shambho Sutta Pahimam Bhaja Shambho Sutta Pahimam Nija Gauri Sutta Rakshama Nija Gauri Sutta Rakshama Bhajanatyadara Pahimam Bhajanatyadara Pahimam Bhajanatyadara Pahimam Bhajanatyadara Pahimam Nija Vidyadara Rakshama Nija Vidyadara Rakshama Jaya Lambodara Pahimam पाहि मां जय लम्बोदर पाहि मां निज अम्बासुत रक्ष मां निज अम्बासुत रक्ष मां भजनाट्याधर पाहि मां भजनाट्याधर पाहि मां निज विद्याधर रक्ष मां निज विद्याधर रक्ष मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां निज नित्यानन्द रक्ष मां निज नित्यानन्द रक्ष मां जय लम्बोदर पाहि मां जय लम्बोदर पाहि मां निज अम्बासुत रक्ष मां निज अम्बासुत रक्ष मां जय लम्बोदर पाहि मां जय लम्बोदर पाहि मां निज अम्बासुत रक्ष मां निज अम्बासुत रक्ष मां भज शम्भोसुत पाहि मां भज शम्भोसुत पाहि मां निज गौरीसुत रक्ष मां निज गौरीसुत रक्ष मां भज नाट्याधर पाहि मां भज नाट्याधर पाहि मां निज विद्याधर रक्ष मां निज विद्याधर रक्ष मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां भज सच्चिदानन्द पाहि मां निज नित्यानन्द रक्ष मां निज नित्यानन्द रक्ष मां जय लम्बोदर जय लम्बोदर जय लम्बोदर पाहि मां
The bhajans of Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, bhajans like the one you just heard, have a way of energizing us, whether fast or slow, whether long or short, whether we have heard them before or we have not. In short, his bhajans are energizers, energizing our resolve to stay on the spiritual path with the ultimate goal of attaining moksha or liberation. What a beautiful bhajan!
And what a beautiful rendition of a beautiful bhajan. The voice to which you were just listening was that of the late Swami Manasa Datta. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's program, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Puja Sri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Koke Supermart Limited. Today, contemplation upon the Dashavatara continues with a look at the Lord's incarnation as Sri Krishna.
But why jump from Matsya Avatara to Krishna Avatara? Well, this was actually a deliberate decision. As many of you would know, Pujya Sri Swamiji has been heavily propagating learning and memorizing Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Actually, just last Monday, a new app, Bhagavad Gita, was launched by Pujya Sri Swamiji, and this app contains all 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita as well as Gita Mahatmyam chanted in Pujya Sri Swamiji's own voice. Not only that, but as he chants, the words are highlighted so you have the opportunity to chant along with him. In addition to this, as if this was not a great enough gift for us, The meanings of each of those 700 shlokas contained within Bhagavad Gita can also be found on this app. Such is Sri Swamiji's dedication to ensuring that we learn Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In fact, soon, batch 9 of Puja Appaji's Gita Mahayagna program will begin. So, in an attempt to get your minds focused a bit more on that incarnation who blessed us with Bhagavad Gita, today's focus will be Sri Krishna.
The incarnation of Sri Krishna is one of bliss. He gave bliss to every being, be it a child, an elder, a saint, or a knowledgeable person. Even the cows and plants derived bliss from being in Sri Krishna's presence.
It is said that sage Vyasa described Sri Krishna's childhood in detail, since sage Valmiki did not describe Lord Rama's childhood in detail. Let us then, before we go any further, offer obeisance and gratitude to that sage Vyasa.
Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamayaf Pradipaha.
This shloka says, "Salutations to you, O Vyasa of supreme intellect, with eyes vibrant like the petals of a fully bloomed lotus, and who lit the lamp of wisdom filled with the oil of Mahabharata."
Today, in contemplating upon Sri Krishna, since the Balarama incarnation of Sri Vishnu is part of the Krishna incarnation, both incarnations will be discussed simultaneously. After all, the purpose of both incarnations was the same. The one Lord incarnated at the same place and in the same house as two brothers. With this, he reminded us that everyone and everything is an aspect of his. And through the kinship which these two brothers showed towards each other, through the trust they placed in each other, through their camaraderie, they showed us how brotherhood or good relations between relatives and affection in a family should be maintained.
Remembering Sri Krishna relieves one of all sorrows and difficulties. This is because Sri Krishna himself underwent so many troubles. Even though he knows everything, he observed everything for us and showed us many of his leelas.
It is often said that Lord Krishna attracts the minds of beings because the mind is never calm and rested. The mind is always on the move, just as a monkey jumps from one branch to another. However, a running mind can never be successful. But the Lord teaches us how to tame the mind. He told Arjuna that if he wants to be successful, he must become like Hanuman. Arjuna grasped what the Lord was saying, and using that hint, he won the war by practicing it.
A mind on the run cannot concentrate. And if it cannot concentrate, it cannot understand anything. To be able to achieve any victory, concentration of the mind is essential. Sri Krishna attracts the mind. When our mind and intellect are fully concentrating on him, we walk in the right path and are successful. Just as a field has to be plowed to do agriculture, Sri Krishna attracts us and churns the mind to remove the weeds. And what are those weeds? They are the bad thoughts in the mind. The weeds do not let the good crops grow. Sri Krishna Paramatma removes such weeds from the mind and intellect.
Most people do not share their bad secrets with anyone. On the contrary, because persons desire fame, they glorify even a small good deed that they may have done. For most beings, the common desire is that we should always be happy, fully knowledgeable, and have good fame. So, a sensible person never tells his secrets to someone on the outside. But if he is truly sensible, then one should tell himself about his own mistakes and search for solutions to those mistakes.
Most of us, though, attempt no such thing. In such cases, Sri Krishna starts to plow our mind and intellect. By doing so, the weeds are removed and the auspicious Adumbara tree grows there. He is called Krishna because he removes the weeds from the mind, sows the seed for the Kalpa Vriksha or the wish-fulfilling tree, waters it, and makes it give fruits. He then blesses us with those fruits.
Sri Krishna changes our life. With such changes, he corrects our life and gives bliss through this life itself. It is because of our parents, Sadguru Deva, and the merit of Mahatmas that we are happy. We are walking on the good path shown to us by them, and we should never forget them. This is true for both the material and the spiritual worlds.
Sri Krishna has shown us the way to live a good, purposeful life with the teachings contained within Bhagavad Gita. Understanding his actions and his leelas, that's not possible. But understanding his words or his speech, that is easy. His language is very simple and doesn't require explanation. That is why he is called Jagat Guru, and that is why we are speaking about him.
Sometimes, if one reads Srimad Bhagavatam, he or she may develop many doubts about Lord Krishna. If ever that happens, you must simply close the book and do not read any further. Never read his history with a mind harboring doubts about him. His story is difficult to grasp because his path, his approach, and his life are like the footsteps, if you like, of a fish in the water. Tracing them is just not possible.
Even when we look at the actions of saints, it is similar. Understanding them is not easy. Pray to Sri Krishna to clear any lingering doubts. At the end of the day, all the spiritual paths converge in Nama Smarana, or chanting divine names. Reading and listening to the Lord's story is also doing Nama Smarana. Listeners, Appaji has said it and Sri Balaswamiji has said it. In the devotional path, Nama Smarana is the strongest tool. Listening to the Lord's glories in the form of his stories is a form of his Nama Smarana, but another form is bhajan. So let us all join in this auspicious activity now as you open the Bhajan Mala app or website once again. This time enter Bhajan ID number 2253 and join Pooja Appaji in singing this beautiful self-composed Devi Bhajan released during 2018 Navaratri celebrations at Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru.
Shri Devi Bhagavate Bahurupai Rabi Vinuta
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 Hrudi Kalage Muni Viditam Shiva Vanitam Shri Lalitam
Hrudi Kalage Muni Vinutam Shiva Vanitam Shri Lalitam
Hrudi Kalage Muni Viditam Shiva Vanitam Shri Lalitam
Hrudi Kalage Muni Viditam Shiva Vanitam Shri Lalitam Shri Devi Bhagavate Bahurupai Rabi Vinuta Shri Devi Bhagavate Bahurupai Rabi Vinuta
Yuti Ruchiram Giri Madhura
Yuti Ruchiram Giri Madhura
Shiva Sukaram Vidruta Sharam
Shiva Sukara Vidruta Sharam
Ati Vimalam Hrudi Mrudulam
Ati हृदि विमला हृदि मृदुला
చితి సకల దిగి సరళ
चिति सकला
సరళ శ్రీదేవి
भागवते बहुरूपैरविनुता श्रीदेवी भागवते बहुरूपैरविनुता
తదనుజాం ఉతవహుజాం
जितदनुजा भूतवहजा
జితదనుజాం ఉతవగజాం
जितदनुजा भूतवहजा
గతరుజాం ప్రియమనుజాం
विगतरुजा प्रियमनुजा
విగతరుజాం ప్రియమనుజాం
विगतरुजा प्रियमनुजा
గురు సచ్చిదానందమతాం
गुरु सचिदानन्दमता
షట్కమలో పరిలసితాం
षट्कमलो परिलसिता श्रीदेवी भागवते बहुरूपै रविविनुता श्रीदेवी भागवते बहुरूपै रविविनुता हृदि कलये मुनिविनुता शिववनिता श्रीललिता
శ్రీదేవి భాగవతే బహురూపై రవివినుతాం
श्रीदेवी भागवते बहुरूपैरभिविनुता
Seeing the effect that bhajan can have on a room full of people is bound to put a smile on your face. That bhajan itself is bound to put a smile on your face, for that is one of the beauties of Nama Smarana. More so when the words and music were put together by an avaduta and a maestro of sound, both of which are descriptions which fit Paramapujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited. Special thanks go out to them, as they do to you, dear listener, for sharing this Sunday morning Sandhya hour with us as we contemplate upon the 8th major avatara in the Dash Avatara, Sri Krishna.
Lord Krishna's story starts with the fear of death, the greatest fear of all fears. This was a fear harbored by Kamsa. Fear makes you lose even before you attempt to fight the battle. Sure, it is easy enough for someone to say, "Don't be scared," but I'm sure that each and every one of us has had an experience which makes us understand that it is not that easy.
A person with a good and sensible intellect will not be worried about the things which are always true. For example, death, the flow of a river, etc. These things are always true.
Even Lord Brahma has to abide by these things. We, however, are just humans.
But when fear does threaten to rear its head, there are two things which can help us to win the battle over fear. When we possess energy, we lose fear. And if we have a companion with us, we usually feel less afraid. But friends or relatives can only say, "I am with you always," but physically being with you all the time is not feasible. When we were born on this earth, we brought no companion along with us, but Sadguru and God, who possess energies beyond our comprehension. They are always with us all the time. They walk with us, never leaving us. When in our minds we hold on to that firm belief that Sadguru or God is with us, then there is absolutely no reason to be afraid. But it is only those who are on a spiritual path who will have such belief. Only those who have full faith in the Lord's will have the peace of mind brought about by an absence of fear.
Listeners, your devotion benefits you. Only you benefit from it. When we are devoted, we have faith that our Sadguru or our preferred deity is walking with us. Then we do not complain about loneliness because we never feel lonely. And it is only those who do not fear loneliness who will win over the fear of death. No other person can conquer the fear of death. The demon Kamsa lacked that sort of confidence in the Lord's companionship, and because of this he harbored fear.
Kalanemi was reborn as Kamsa. He loved his sister Devaki very much and searched for a good husband for her. Eventually, he got her married to Vasudeva. The announcement from the sky that the 8th progeny of Vasudeva would bring about his death immediately changed Kamsa's behavior towards his sister. In a second, he was ready to kill her.
This story teaches us a very important lesson. It teaches us that the mind is very unstable and can make us commit many bad sins. 1 minute, out of so much love for his sister, Kamsa wanted to find the ideal husband for Devaki. But then, the next minute, he was ready to end her life.
We should be very careful during moments when the mind is not stable. Certain circumstances, like loss of money, loss of life, and loss of self-respect, make us forget everything. And in such situations, selfishness dominates in the mind. Kamsa could not think straight. His sister had just gotten married, so there was still plenty of time before her 8th child would be born. Surely then he could let her live in the meantime. But such thoughts did not occur to him because his thinking was overtaken by his fear of death.
Devotion teaches us many ideas that are beneficial to us. The faith that Sadguru is in your heart makes you stop doing many bad deeds. Otherwise, there would be no stopping the atrocities meted out to others. Devotional feelings in society can, to a large degree, cut the evils in society. This is the difference between the devotee and the non-devotee. We have to face the consequences of our actions, and pondering over our inner consciousness will give us the insight needed to see the wrong in our past actions.
It is very difficult to change or to make a stubborn person understand a point. Kamsa was very stubborn. And when the king has demonic qualities, then the minister will be like a tiger, harming his subjects. The servants will be like wild dogs. As the king is, so are his subjects. This message is for us. It teaches us management skills. We are the kings of our house.
Vasudeva pleaded with Kamsa to spare the life of his new wife. I will give you my progeny as soon as they are born, he said.
Hearing this promise of Vasudeva, Kamsa imprisoned Devaki and Vasudeva.
As time passed, Devaki conceived 7 children. Kamsa killed each of them one by one. Then Balarama incarnated as Devaki's and Vasudeva's 8th child.
Balarama always has 4 plans in place for any job. We must learn this from him. Have a backup plan. Even God has 4 plans in place to run the creation. These 4 plans are Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana, and Vasudeva. This Sankarshana energy entered Devaki's womb as Balarama. But while Devaki Mata was pregnant with Balarama, God was pondering over the fact that Devaki was losing all her children. He thought to himself, this is inauspicious and it is a sin. Whatever may be the reason, I have to do something to stop this.
The Lord instructed Yogamaya to take this child who is in Devaki's womb and to put him in Nanda Gokulam in the womb of Vasudeva's second wife Rohini. Since he was moved from one womb to another, the child got the name of Sankarshana. That Sankarshana was none other than Adi Shesha, the 1,000-headed serpent.
As we celebrate the arrival of one incarnation of the Lord born to protect the world, let us glorify him as the one who protects the entire universe. Please join Pooja Appaji in singing the Pallavi and final Charanam of this divine bhajan, the lyrics to which you can find by entering bhajan ID number 2225 on the Bhajan Mala app or on the website www.bhajanmala.com.
जगन्नाथं पश्यामि सर्वं जगन्नाथं सर्वं जगन्नाथं पश्यामि सर्वं जगन्नाथम् श्वेताश्वरथरत्नमन्नदं देवं पीताम्बरं पीन वक्षस्थलं तं श्वेताश्वरथरत्नमन्नदं देवं पीताम्बरं पीन वक्षस्थलं तं दातारमनिशं श्रीकृष्णमेकं शान्तस्वरूपं सच्चिदानन्दं दातारमनिशं श्रीकृष्णमेकं शान्तस्वरूपं सच्चिदानन्दं सर्वं जगन्नाथं पश्यामि सर्वं जगन्नाथं सर्वं जगन्नाथं पश्यामि सर्वं जगन्नाथं पश्यामि सर्वं जगन्नाथं पश्यामि सर्वं जगन्नाथम्
A bhajan composed by Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, sung by Pujya Shri Swamiji, and in his own words, very much liked by Pujya Appaji. And it's easy to see why. An absolute gem of divine words and music. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam on 103.1 FM. Thank you for joining us for today's continued contemplation upon the Dasha Avatara. Before that bhajan, you heard that Yoga Maya, under the instruction of the Lord, transferred Balarama, who was none other than Adi Shesha, from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. In Kamsa's kingdom, everyone thought that Devaki Devi had lost the child in the womb. She was still to give birth to her 8th child.
Devaki Mata then became pregnant for the 9th time. The child born as a result of that pregnancy was the Supreme Lord himself, Sri Krishna. Vasudeva took the child, crossed the Yamuna river, placed the child near Yashoda Mata, and brought Yashoda's girl child, who is none other than Vishnu Maya, from there. He placed the baby girl near Devaki.
Remembering that the prophetic voice on the day of Devaki's wedding had said that the 8th child of Devaki would bring an end to Kamsa's life, Kamsa, when he heard of the birth of Devaki's 8th child, quickly headed over to the jail cell where his sister was being kept. To his surprise, the child was a little girl. Still though, Kamsa was so scared of dying that he went forward and tried to kill the baby girl by banging her to the floor.
The child immediately flew up into the sky and appeared as Durga Mata with 18 hands. She told Kamsa that the child who would bring about his death had already taken birth and was in Gokulam. Kamsa sent a search party to Gokulam.
This event, Durga Mata telling Kamsa about Krishna's birth, this made the incarnation of Krishna complete. The full story of Sri Krishna's childhood is very long, but for couples who have no children, they should read Krishna's history.
Garga Maharishi coined the names of both the brothers secretly in a cowshed. The elder child was named Balarama because he was strong, and the younger one was called Krishna because he attracts and gives bliss to all.
As soon as we remember Sri Krishna, the mind automatically thinks of a flute, a peacock feather, Leelas, and Bhagavad Gita. But Lord Krishna likes to be called Navanita Chora, meaning butter thief.
If you call anyone by the name thief, will they respond? But here, Sri Krishna Paramatma is happily responding to the name butter thief. But what does this name signify?
Sri Krishna and his friends would stealthily enter a room, find the pots of butter, and steal the butter without the gopikas even being aware of what was happening in their own homes. The whole time, the child Krishna would ensure that the pot containing the butter, or sometimes milk, remained steady. Sometimes, if he could not reach the top of the pot to empty it, he would make holes wherever he could reach and drain the pot instead. And there is so much symbolism in these actions. For one, we learn that without the knowledge of the person, Sri Krishna enters the mind and steals their sins. This is stealing butter.
But why is it said that he stole the milk and the milk products while ensuring that the pots remain steady? Here, the pots represent the human body. Without the knowledge of the body and without causing any movement to the body, he steals the sins.
Normally, if butter is stuck to a pot, then while removing the butter, the pot has to move. Here, however, the child Krishna removed the butter without causing the pot to move.
Many fruitive actions or karma and sins attach to the pot called human body. This karma seeks shelter under all the senses. The Lord skillfully plucks away the karma which was attached to the senses, and the whole time he ensures that the gross body does not move. This is the symbolism behind stealing butter without shaking the pot even slightly.
When there is excessive fluid retention in the body, it is drained using pipes. Likewise, some sins which are attached to the body are being drained out by the Lord. This is symbolized by Sri Krishna making small holes in the pot and drinking that milk.
Listeners, the story of Sri Krishna is too long to fit into a 1-hour program, and definitely his glories are far too numerous to fit into even lifetimes upon lifetimes of ours. But let us still, with the time we do have, engage in glorifying him. Please join Pooja Appaji now in chanting Achyutashtakam. You can find the lyrics to the wonderful, beautiful stotra by entering stotra number 7298 on the Bhajanmala app or the website.
Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishnadamodaram Vasudevam Harim Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishnadamodaram Vasudevam Harim Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Janaki Nayakam Ramachandram Bhaje Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishnadamodaram Vasudevam Harim. కేశవం సత్యభామాధవం మాధవం శ్రీధరం రాధికారాధితం ఇందిరా మందిరం చేతసా సుందరం దేవకీ నందనం నందజం సందదే అచ్యుతం కేశవం రామనారాయణం కృష్ణదామోదరం వాసుదేవం హరిం. విష్ణవే జిష్ణవే శంకినే చక్రిణే రుక్మిణీ రాగిణే జానకీ జానకే వల్లవీ వల్లభార్చితాయాత్మనే కంసవేద్వంశినే వంశినే తే నమః. అచ్యుతం కేశవం రామనారాయణం కృష్ణదామోదరం వాసుదేవం హరిం. గోవింద హే రామనారాయణం శ్రీపదే వాసుదేవాజితే శ్రీనిధే అచ్యుతానంత హే మాధవ దోక్షజ ద్వారకానాయక ద్రౌపదీ రక్షక అచ్యుతం కేశవం రామనారాయణం కృష్ణదామోదరం వాసుదేవం హరిం. రాక్షసక్షోభిత శీతయా శోభితో దండకారణ్యపు పుణ్యతాకారణం లక్ష్మణేనాన్వితో వానరై సేవితో అగస్య సంపూజితో రాఘవం పాతు మాం. అచ్యుతం కేశవం రామనారాయణం కృష్ణదామోదరం వాసుదేవం హరిం. ధేనుకారిష్టకో నిష్టఘృద్వేషిణ కేశిహా కంసవృద్వంశికా బాధకా పూతనా కోపక సూరజ కేలనో బాలకో బాలకం పాతు మాం సర్వదా. అచ్యుతం కేశవం రామనారాయణం కృష్ణదామోదరం వాసుదేవం హరిం. విద్యుదోద్యోతవాస్పస్ఫురవాసనం ప్రావుఢం బోధవత్ ప్రోల్లసద్ विग्रहं सव्यया मालया शोभितो रस्थलं लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं वारिजाक्षं भजे अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिम् कुन्तलै व्राजमानाननं रम्यमौलिं लसत् कुण्डलं गण्डयो हारकेयूरकं कङ्कणाप्रोज्ज्वलं किङ्किणी मञ्जुळं श्यामलं तं भजे अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिम् अच्युतायष्टकं यं पठेदिष्टदं प्रेमता प्रत्यगं पुरुषस्य स्पृहं ततः सुन्दरं कर्तृविश्वम्भरं तस्य वशो हरिर्जायते वत्सरम् अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं वासुदेवं हरिं वासुदेवं हरिं वासुदेवं हरिम्.
What a divine note on which to begin to wrap up today's episode of Datta Arpanam.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadgurudeva, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji and Sri Bala Swamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arpanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam: Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing your Sunday morning with us.
Remember, if you would like to listen to today's offering again, the podcast will be uploaded to 103.1 FM's website by tomorrow evening. Simply visit www.103fm.tt, click on podcasts and scroll down to Datta Arpanam. Alternatively, you can also access the link via the Datta Arpanam Facebook page.
Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
वन्दे शङ्कर परिहारं बृन्दारकवर परिवारम्
वन्दे शङ्कर परिहारं बृन्दारकवर परिवारम्
वन्दे शङ्कर परिहारं बृन्दा பிருந்தாரகவர் பரிவாரம்
वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम्
பிருந்தாரகவர் பரிவாரம் கங்கா சங்கத சீர்ஷாக்ரம் கங்கா சங்கத
शीर्षाग्रम्
கங்கா சங்கத சீர்ஷாக்ரம்
गङ्गासङ्गतशीर्षाग्रम्
கருணாவீச்சி சமுதக்ரம் கருணாவீச்சி
समुद्रम्
கருணாவீச்சி சமுதக்ரம்
करुणावीचि समुद्रम्
கௌரி பூரித வாமாங்கம்
गौरी पूरितवामाङ्गम्
வாமாங்கம் கௌரி பூரித வாமாங்கம்
गौरी पूरितवामाङ्गम्
கல்பித சந்தத சத்சங்கம்
कल्पितसन्ततसत्सङ्गम्
கல்பித சந்தத சத்சங்கம்
कल्पितसन्ततसत्सङ्गम् वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम्
பிருந்தாரகவர்
परिवारम् वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम् वृन्दारकवरपरिवारम्
हिमकर रेखोज्वल शिरसं
हिमकररेखोज्ज्वलशिरसम्
प्रसृमर संविद विमलरसं
प्रसृमरसं विमलरसम्
कण्ठालम्बित नागेन्द्रं
कण्ठालम्बितनागेन्द्रम्
नीलारुणगन रुचिसान्द्रं
नीलारुणगणरुचिसान्द्रम्
नीलारुणगन रुचिसान्द्रं
नीलारुणगणरुचिसान्द्रम् वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम् वृन्दारकवरपरिवारम्
दत्त जगत्रय सद्भावं दत्त जगत्रय चिन्मय प्रणव श्रीरामं
चिन्मय प्रणव श्रीरामम्
जीवे जीवे सुखकन्दं
जीवे जीवे सुखकन्दम्
सद्गुरुगण सच्चिदानन्दं
सद्गुरुगणसच्चिदानन्दम्
सद्गुरुगण सच्चिदानन्दं
सद्गुरुगणसच्चिदानन्दम्
सद्गुरुगण सच्चिदानन्दं
सद्गुरुगणसच्चिदानन्दम् वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम् वृन्दारकवरपरिवारम् वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम् वृन्दारकवरपरिवारम्
वन्दे शङ्करमरिहारं
वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम्
वन्दे शङ्करमरिहारं
वन्दे शङ्करपरिहारम्
बृन्दारकवरपरिवारं
वृन्दारकवरपरिवारम्
बृन्दारकवरपरिवारं 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 परिवारं हरे परिवारं हरे वन्दे शङ्कर मरिहारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्